Continuing with the David Walliams, The World's Worst Children, Sofia Sofa. Sofia Sofa. All Sofia wanted to do was sit on the sofa all day, watching television. Sofia Sofa was without doubt one of the absolute worst children in the world. She never went to school, or helped her mum with chores around the house, or even got up to have dinner at the dining table. All she did was sit and watch TV. It didn't matter what was on. Soap operas, game shows, detective shows, gardening programs, talent shows, cartoons, political programs, even shows about old boring junk that presenters presented were priceless antiques. As long as the screen was flickering, Sofia was glued to it. Adverts were her absolute favourites. Sometimes she felt that the programs got in the way of all the adverts. All day and all night, Sofia would sit slumped on the sofa in front of the TV, eating and watching. Crisps, biscuits, cakes, sweets, chocolates were her favourite foods to gobble as she watched. If an advert came on for crisps, biscuits, cakes, sweets or chocolate, then she would shout to her mum to bring her more. "Mother!" she would yell. "Chocolate? No!" The girl's poor mum. She was poor because she had to spend all her money on colossal amounts of food for her daughter, would have to dash out to the corner shop to buy Sofia a bar of chocolate. However, by the time the woman returned home, Sofia would have seen another advert for something else she wanted to scoff, and she'd seen her mum straight back to the door again. "Mother! Cake!" Watching and eating, eating and watching. That is all Sofia did. Her eyes had actually become square from staring at the box all day. The only exercise Sofia took was changing channels on the television, but because she had a remote control, this was nothing more than pressing a button with her finger. Still, sometimes her finger would get tired and she would shout out to her mum, "Mother, channel 3, no!" It would come to no surprise that one day Sofia's mum decided enough was enough. "It's time you stopped watching the television and got off your bottom for once, young lady," demanded the woman. "Now, mother," muttered Sofia, not looking up from the television. "I just got to find out what happens at the end of this program thingy." "What do you mean, Sofia? The end of the episode?" asked Mum. "Nah, the end of the series," replied Sofia Sofa. "There is no end. You are watching soap operas. It will go on forever. Come on, young lady, up." With that, Mum put her hands under her daughter's armpits and attempted to hoist her upwards. 3, 2, 1, heave! Eventually she managed it, but the sofa came with Sofia. The girl had been sitting there for so long she had been completely wedged in. In fact, the two had somehow fused, and it was impossible to tell when the girl ended and the piece of furniture began. Sofia had become half girl, half sofa. Not that she had bothered, the girl just carried on staring at the television throughout the whole process. When Dad returned home from work, Mum enlisted his help. Together, the pair of them tried to prise their daughter from the sofa. Dad put a foot upon one arm of the sofa to create leverage and directed her wife to the same. 3, 2, 1, heave! But the girl simply would not budge, so Sofia's parents called upon their neighbours in their street of terraced houses to help. The plan was to create a human chain. The combined strength of 100 people would surely separate Sofia from the sofa. Some folks huddled inside the living room while many others lined up behind them outside. "Get out of the way of the TV," shouted Sofia. Dad was in the front room with his arms wrapped around his daughter. Mum held on to him. Indira from the next door held on to her son. And so on, arms linked, as the human chain stretched all the way down the street. 3, 2, 1, heave! Called out Dad. But still, the girl wouldn't budge an inch. Sofia's dad fell backwards and the neighbours toppled over each other like dominoes, and ended up lying in a big heap, some of them in front of Sofia. "You're still blocking the TV," she moaned. There was nothing else for it. Dad decided to call the emergency services. "What service do you require?" said the operator. "Police, fire, ambulance, police, fire, or ambulance?" "I'm not sure," began Dad, as Mum looked on anxiously. "You see, my daughter has become attached to a sofa." "As in, she likes it a lot," inquired the operator. "No, as in they are joined together," answered Sofia's dad. "Oh dear, that is an unusual one," replied the operator. "We had a man the other day whose bottom had become jammed in a bucket, and a lady whose head had become lodged into a melon, but we have never had anything wedged in a sofa." I could send the fire brigade to cut her out. That seems a bit drastic, said Mum. Keep it down and watch. Are you watching TV? Shouted Sofa. What was that? Asked the operator. Nothing, whispered Dad. Just my lovely daughter, the one who's half girl, half sofa. Oh, the operator thought for a moment. I could send the police to arrest somebody. Who? Asked Dad. The sofa. Sophia's dad pondered this. No, the sofa hasn't done anything wrong, and we rather like it. Mum nodded her head in agreement. How about an ambulance? They can take your daughter to the hospital, and perhaps a surgeon can perform an operation to separate her from the sofa. Yes. Yeah, that's a super idea, replied Dad. Please send an ambulance right away. Thank you. Nino, Nino, Nino. The ambulance arrived in minutes, but there was a problem. Being half girl, half sofa, Sophia was too large to fit through the front door. So the ambulance driver called a crane with a giant wrecking ball to help. Less than an hour later, the giant crane swung its heavy metal ball at the front of Sophia's terraced house. Bash! The wall smashed to pieces as a cloud of dust enveloped everyone in the street. Still, Sophia sat watching her beloved television. Get that dust out of my way now! I can't see the TV! She shouted. When the dust cleared, the ambulance driver found there was another problem. The half-girl, half-sofa was too heavy to lift, so the ball had taken off its crane's chain, and the chain was now secured round the bottom of the sofa. With a pull of a lever, whoosh! The half-girl, half-sofa was hoisted up into the air. When Sophia could no longer see her beloved television, she started making an awful racket. TV! 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 She chanted. The crane operator panicked and pulled the wrong lever, sending his load swinging through the air. It smashed into the row of houses on the other side of the road. Crash! The houses came tumbling down in an explosion of dust and debris. Boom! There wasn't much of the terrace house streets left. Not that Sophia cared. All she cared about was watching television. When the noise of falling brickwork and the screams of innocent bystanders had subsided, all that could be heard was the girl chanting, TV, 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 TV. As quickly as she could, the ambulance driver opened the back doors of her vehicle. The crane driver attempted to swing the half-girl, half-sofa inside. After around 500 tries, it became clear it was not going to fit, so the ambulance driver had an idea. Using a rope, she secured half of the girl, half the sofa to the rear end her ambulance so she could pull Sophia's sofa all the way to the hospital. TV, 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 came the chant. By now, the driver was so desperate to stop this ear-torturing noise, she was willing to try anything. So she plugged the television into the back of the ambulance. It flaked to life once more in front of Sophia. That was the longest she had gone without watching television. Silence, she could remember. The TV had been off for a whole minute, and she was relieved it was back on again. The ambulance driver drove off as slowly and gently as possible. The girl's parents sat up front in the cab as their daughter and the television trode behind. The half-girl, half-sofa seemed happy enough as she trundled along in the direction of the hospital. After all, she could watch the TV for an entire journey. All went well until the ambulance took a sharp corner. Screech! And both the rope and the electricity cable on the TV snapped. Thwack! The ambulance driver sped on, unaware, but the television and half-girl, half-sofa flew across the road, untethered. Zoom! As the television was now unplugged, the screen went black. Sophia became chanting wildly, TV! 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 But as luck would have it, at that very moment, the half-girl, half-sofa bashed straight in through the window of a television shop. Sophia's sofa flew through the air and landed inside a giant screen television. Inside, she became wedged within. Now, Sofia's sofa television was 1/3 girl, 1/3 sofa, 1/3 television, which is exactly what can happen if you watch too much TV.